The cover story for the October issue of Fort Wayne Magazine focuses on the future for the city's urban landscape. In the article, local architect Zachary Benedict has his own thoughts on how downtown development is. Joining us today to talk through some of those ideas is the magazine's editor, Sarah Fiedleholz. Sarah, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So what are some of the topics that Zachary has been discussing?
Well, the interesting thing to think about is that downtown Fort Wayne has seen an unprecedented amount of development and growth, especially like with Electric Works and the Landing. And so what you have to think about going forward is it's not just about growth and capacity, like how big we can get and what kinds of these large, developments that we could have, but also about the quality of life and how do people define home and what it will mean for people in the future to be living in Fort Wayne.
Right, so I actually just went downtown this past week to Aptera. They just opened their new space down there, and it's taking a modern look at buildings already in existence. Is that part of his plan?
I mean, obviously you're going to want to work with structures and infrastructure that already exists. But I think what the big thing that you have to think about is how people define home and their relation to their environment and where they live, and also the role that technology plays. So I think that's more of a shift of thinking about the quality of life and as opposed to just the infrastructure.
And what are some of those issues, or not, I shouldn't say issues, those aspects that create a livable city?
Well, the most important thing to think about is how we've defined a sense of home and what it means to have a home. And we've gone through, since the 16th century, we've really gone through eras that we've gone from like just developing privacy to then developing a sense of comfort to really in the 20th century we saw this real surge in independence and autonomy, where there was the big suburban migration, and everybody wanted their own pool, their own playground, their own area, and homes became much larger and people became more independent, but they became more isolated. So now what we're really facing is what we're calling an era of cooperation, where people in communities, and really it's coming down to the ultimate ultra-local level, which is the neighborhood, and really thinking about how to create an environment that allows them to build an engaging and useful and unique neighborhood type of settings.
So it's the new neighborhood, essentially. So what are some other changes Fort Wayne residents might see in the future?
Well, I think what they're going to see is really the use of technology, and technology has really made it very efficient to be able to manage neighborhoods on that micro-local level. You're also going to see, because of the idea of crowdsourcing and gathering of information, that neighborhoods are really going to become unique in terms of what they offer for those specific residents.
Right.
I mean, the fact of the matter is that we are going to be going through a tremendous demographic shift. As baby boomers are getting older, the needs of those baby boomers are going to be different. So how a community and a neighborhood can respond and provide the services that their neighbors need. And it's really coming down to on this really micro, hyper-local level. Then you see it really in grassroots initiatives that are taking place to really help to respond to the needs of specific neighborhood residents.
Right, and a lot of fascinating stuff we're going to see in the future.
Absolutely.
Well, you can pick up an issue of Fort Wayne Magazine over at a dozen businesses in the area. To see this interview again, visit our website, wayne.com. We're back with a full look at your forecast next.